I was thinking the other day because I was listening to my prospecting calls and I realized that I listened to one call and I'm going very direct, like, let's do it. I'll give you some examples in a second. And the other one, I'm just listening to them saying, maybe you should talk to some agents and just stepping back and letting the customer or the prospect decide themselves what they want to do, giving them that extra sense of autonomy because that's what they needed. Other people need leadership. They're saying, tell me what to do. And it comes to that word called versatility. And what I've realized is that the people who can sell more, they can sell in any circumstance, in any market environment, whether it's up, down, is that they have this magical ability to be versatile, to adapt to the situation, the context, as well as the personality of the person they're talking to. So I'm listening to one call and I'm saying to them, I can sell it. I can sell it. Are you home at 4 o'clock? Very direct. And it works with that person. That's what they needed to hear. But I listened to a call just recently, really great gentleman in a high-end property. And I was actually saying to him, like, maybe you should talk to some agent. There's some good agents out there. It's almost like in that case, selling without selling. And there's one beautiful thing that came out of my mouth is that the person asked me a question, and I said something like this. I'll have to listen to the call. Maybe you should listen to the call. I'll send it to you. Anyway, so I said, I could answer your question, but I prefer not to answer that question because if I answer it, I'll be answering in a self-serving way. So let me answer a different question. And it was a question that just a different way of saying it, but it just came out of my mouth. Anyway, near the end, this gentleman who didn't even want to sell yet, right? They were on the market at one time. And he said, I want you to take my cell phone and call me. I'm going to talk to my wife about us getting together on Saturday. I said, sure. Right. So this is the magic of versatility. And what we'll do when we get into business is we'll look for confidence, and we get confidence from what? Learning scripts. Otherwise, I don't know what to say to anyone, right? Like there's a fizbo. What do I say? There's a neighbor. How do I talk about real estate, without shoving it down his throat? And he'll hide from me every time I walk up the driveway. What do I say differently to that person or my bank manager? How do I get him to give me referrals? So say this, and you go, oh, I got confidence now. What you'll also realize with the scripts, and this is really important, some of you haven't realized this, and some of you will know this, and I just brought it to the surface, and you go, absolutely true. You'll notice that each coach has their own scripts. So the scripts that a person would write are the scripts that would work for that person. So there's two big coaches in the industry. One of them, very warm, cuddly, talks about calling your past clients, working with your database, that after you sell a home, you should go to their office and bring flowers for everybody. Things like that, right? That kind of personality. And the other one says, when do you plan on moving? You absolutely have to sell this home. Very direct. If you look at those individuals, they're both different personality styles. One is direct, driver type. One is amiable. So remember that when you adapt somebody else's script, right, that's a script that will work for that one person, not necessarily anybody else. Better than nothing. So you got something, you grab something, and you start using it. And many times you'll notice you feel uncomfortable using it at the first. And that's because it's not you. But it's better than nothing. You've got something to say. Some people get stuck there. 10 years later, they're still struggling, trying to be someone they're not. What I believe and I found is the Bruce Lee method. Because Bruce Lee said, express yourself. Express yourself. So there's a certain time when you now want to say, I want to develop the scripts. I will write scripts for myself. I'll be the one. And when I say write, it's metaphorical. What it means is I will express myself. So first you memorize the scripts, you internalize, make them your own. Great. And I recommend it, in fact. Some good scripts out there and good coaches. But there's a certain point where you say, I want to be the script writer. Very few get above the memorization, internalization. They just stay there. They think that until they meet someone that can fly off the moment and create scripts in the second. My hero is actually Robin Williams. If you watch him being interviewed and the way he can play with people and his mind is so fast, that's the ability I want you to be on, that you can take that subject, that situation, the context, their personality, and move people. But people ask me, how did you take 114 FISBOs personally in 2025? There's coaches out there on stages who took 16 and they talk about I took 16 and everyone's wowed. And they should be. That 16 is good. But to get to this level, we have to create some magic. So my advice is learn all these things. They're really good, all the scripts. But the key is to become versatile. Become versatile.